Finally, I get to talk about something other than politics, like video games. I was holding off making this guy for so long, and this is going to be part one of part two, because this is like showing me like the rough process of how like I came about figuring out the triggers on how to change your character in Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion, right? Like, I used to think like, okay, if you collect so much of these genes, you'll automatically change your character after like a certain amount. Excuse me. Well, that is true. You can trigger it much quicker, much more quickly, by collecting the specific boss powers. But that's gonna come in part two. Like this is part one, just me collecting like random skills, showing off like the build that I made, and I wasn't necessarily too happy with it because like even though it turned out the way I wanted it to, like my character like seemed lackluster. Like he just seemed like too blocky. Plus, in my opinion, the head didn't match. Like the whole body was just too like it didn't fit with the head, didn't fit with the whole theme, in my opinion. So I opted for something else. I basically wasted, if you count this as my third or fourth transformation. This is my third transformation. That means I wasted 1.3 million and just changing my character back to like the default character because you need like 500 thou when your character is maxed out mutations. Like he's fully changed to change him back into human. So I'm gonna show off. I think because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to avoid changing specifically my head. Like I didn't really care about my back or my waist, but I went to the factor removal and took out specific ones. So I just got the back, and I'm just like checking if I can get the back and the waist. I just said fuck it, go with the back because I wanted like I didn't want the might in on this build. I wanted the skeleton waist, so I just factored this out and made my build. And I wish I knew like much sooner because when I say I spent hours like doing this, I mean I spent hours doing this. But to be fair, it's when the game first came out. That's when I wasted most of my time chasing after these things, trying to level up my character. When in reality, and I'll show it off in part two. Part two is probably going to be like less than like 15 minutes, and it's just me getting like specifically the boss factor. So I'll just talk about which ones I fought, and then like you have to fight like other specific ones, and then they have like another compound, but specifically the Roman numeral that you're looking for, so then you match that, and like for some like to get to level 3, like I like to check though just in case like level 3 is going to push like 2 mutations, so like let's say the shoulders and the arms, or like whatever, like legs and waist or some shit like that, like it's going to push for 2 things, and like it doesn't matter what combination, at least from my observation, it doesn't matter what combination of genes that you have. The more of one color genes, like if you have, because it's all set like maximum is 7. So if you have the higher number, the higher sum in a specific color, that's what your mutation is going to look like. Doesn't matter what order you get them in. It doesn't matter uh, which skills that you're unlocking. I don't know this for sure, but I tried it out like I said, it's like my third time, second, third time, whatever. And from my observations, it doesn't really matter if you have like a mixture of these genes, as long as you have the specific genes in majority. So here I have green in majority, and when I change, right, and I don't want the head because I wanted the might mask, because the head is the is the mask part, which is I think the most important part of your character, the way your character is going to look in conclusion. So I went straight for the skeleton waist, uh, got it, and uh, I mean it looks good on skeleton, but I think on other bodies it leaves something to be desired. I was like trying to go for an elephant look, and even though my character kind of looked like an elephant, I would have preferred like the mite horns with the mite mask, and then like ah, it wasn't a bad character the way it turned out. It's just I wish I did more to differentiate it between the I don't know, just I'm just like thinking out loud because I wasted so much time doing this that I don't want anybody who's picking up playing this game to make that mistake because if it's just the look that you're looking for, that's all you need to worry about is just get the boss and then like you have to look for the skill in the skill tree like I'm doing right now and see level 3 and I'll see like okay you need 3 factors, right? And then you scroll down the boss list and it'll tell you which ones that you want to fight, and then usually if getting the skill up to level 2 doesn't trigger the transformation automatically, level 3 definitely will. But sometimes level 3 will go overboard, and then you'll have 2 transformations instead of just one, which isn't too bad. You just got to go back into the factor removal thing, which I just showed, and then like see which ones you got to take out. And sometimes, yeah, like you fought a boss, you got to get rid of the reward that you got for it. But like that's the price of vanity that you pay when you're playing this game. You just gotta like, keep at it. And yeah. I know I made a guide for getting specific genes for like, upgrading your character here and there, but like uh I wouldn't say that Negative Gaming made a better guide, but his guide actually does cover fighting the I like to call them devil triggered. The ones with like the swirly they have the RT on them. I don't know what that stands for. Really tough, and then like you gotta farm them because they have really good attachments and stuff. So he has a better guide for farming those ones. But for stealth, I think my guide works a little bit better. But like yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's not really 100% necessary. Like if you're just going for the specific upgrades, I still think like my guide is better for getting the specific factors because again, like you're gonna like pull out a weapon and when you aggro enemies, even if you don't bring help with you, which is like something that I learned that you can do after you beat the game, you can just like not deploy with anybody and just go solo. Um like the whole knifing and cloaking and all that stuff just at least to me lends like the more stable results because it's like I'll see like a whole room of enemies which are like the type that I need to farm, and let's say of the ones that I've downed, maybe 2 or 3 carry the factor out of like 5 or 7. And yeah, that's how I use the knife. Just come behind them with the cloaking and stab repeatedly. I like to grab too, because it's like prevents them from getting away. And if you have enough, like a high enough grabbing stat, you could just like hold on to them for like a very long time. I actually gotta change my character because I was trying to mess with the whole stacking of the grab proficiency, whatever, on your arm. And then I got 2 Futsunishis, I forget how you say it. And like basically the arms with like the highest grab in the game, but they don't necessarily have like great melee capabilities. So I would just want to mix one with a Muramasa in my right arm, so I can just like do the melee with like a high damaging attack, but still have enough grabbing stats because both of the arms actually count towards your grabbing. So like at the length of time that you grab enemies is based off of both of the arms. So if you increase the grabbing stat for both the arms, then you get to hold on to them longer. But again, like that's like one of the more pointless things in this game because I think Eclipse. I mean, sorry, yeah, Eclipse and Negative Gaming, Negative Gaming in specificity, but I think they all both like to use the bow. Yeah, shout out to Eclipse and shout out to Negative Gaming. Shout out to John Rowe, Prodigy Gaming. I think I don't know if I'm missing anybody. Uh, shoot. Well, whatever. Like this game is going to increase in popularity, especially when the DLC drops like a couple weeks from now. I think in a week or two from now. So I want to get these guides out so like people can utilize this guide to get like the appearances they want without wasting hours of gameplay trying to find out what you need to farm and how you need to get it or what you need to do to get it and this and that, right? So I was like making this hard, tough decision. Do I want might arms? How would that look on my character? And I'm just pondering it. Do I want the punching arms? The Pokemon punch arms? I actually don't know which Pokemon has those arms, but I just saw one with like shells and it looks like I don't know, like kind of like a turtle and like punches and boxes. It's like weird. It has punching gloves, but it's like I don't know, purple and blue. It's not a Squirtle. I know what a Squirtle is. But yeah, like eventually you'll get the hang of this and be able to make these mutations on the fly. And like if they add any more like different compounds of mutations that can affect your character, most likely they'll come in like two forms. One you can like collect off of like the new enemies off the DLC and like the bosses, right? And then you just come back here for the fusion and then like you'll just change, the same things like your body, your shoulders, arms, etc., etc. And I'm actually looking forward to that if that's a possibility because as much as I like to mod my character, like all the cosmetics, the DLC, the paid DLC cosmetics, basically in the game. I find this to be vastly more superior because it's like it not only reflects your gameplay choices and stuff, but it also shows like the kind of skills your character would, want to hunt down for first and like have on your character. Even though like technically speaking, you could just like game the system and just like fight the bosses and they'll have like the skills that will trigger the mutations like right away. Now I didn't have, unfortunately, the video of me getting the elephant legs, but here they are, just showing them off. My elephant legs. I went from goat legs, no high heels for me. Goat legs to elephant legs. We moved up. And like what you want to do when you're trying to like get um your skills like and you're like running out of like boss characters is next go for active skills. So your kick, I got optic laser to like go for. I got roar. Like these are all skills that will eventually um unlock my body transformation so that whatever. But I did not know about Demi Loon Slash being because that's a weapon skill, but it comes off of a boss, it comes off of Fiaiba, so that does count as a trigger for a transformation, specifically for the shell, because I think Demi Loon is red. I could be wrong. I don't know. And yeah, like or it could be might. Oh crap, I'm so confused now. Um I think it's red, so that's shell. And then like once you defeat him and then you fight, I think Dreadnought and another boss, you can get level 3 and then that just transforms your character automatically because you just get the level 3 skill and then your character changes its body or his or her body to the color that you are, the skill that you're unlocking, the color and the skill that you're unlocking. Getting the level 3 is usually, especially later on. So when you're changing the last two, which is your torso and then your skull, it just says your head twice. So like the first one, people call the mask, and yeah, it's a mask. Like you got the skeleton one with the two eyes. I like this one, the Raiden slash, Might Mask. When your character gets the skull with this mask on, he has like that Chainsaw Man like grimace. The teeth are showing, and it's just like the head looks so cool and shit. Like I love like just messing around in this game and like, making my character look so cool. Because even though I really liked the whole skeleton character that I unlocked initially, because I wasn't even like really paying attention to how my character was going to transform. I was just like, oh, if I do this, I wonder how my character is going to look. But later on, I was like, oh, you can actually, shift your character, change it, you know, the specific body parts to your liking. And now I'm going to show off the shell body. Like, it's not bad, and it probably looks a little bit better on the might legs or maybe even the bone legs. I don't know. But to me it just didn't match with the head. Like I was gonna get the head, I was gonna need the might head with the two horns. So it can look more like an elephant. Instead I got the skeleton head because I just wanted to see it. And I thought that it would match like my back and my tail. So it's gonna be like, oh, I'm like an elephant. I got like a elephant trunk in the air, but it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. So this is like my part one, my rough video guide to how I transformed my character in this game, hunting down like the specific skills and stuff. See, I'm not necessarily happy with the way I look. But I just gotta go with it because this is what this game is. You learn by doing basically, and again, like my part two is going to be a much shorter guide, and I appreciate anybody who's stuck around watching this video for as long as they did. I hear that like when you especially talking about younger people, like when you have like these longer videos and it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes plus, like just watching it is a chore. So I have to give thanks and reference to anybody who's like, sticking around to watch these videos because, like, it's a craft. I mostly do it for myself because, I just play these games and I'm wondering to myself, well, can I get anything positive, make anything positive out of it or whatever? And I don't know, my character looked way too alien for me. Like if he had like a different body or yeah, different body, like skeleton body or whatever. It's all good. I think so. I'll show off my also cool predator, different build. I even gave him the goat legs because I'm a firm and staunch believer. I'm totally against the whole high heel thing on guys. In the mechs it's okay, but the guys no.